I don't think I've ever been more consistently neutral-faced through an entire series of television than I was when I watched Netflix's Chicago Party Aunt. At no point over the show's more than 3-hour runtime did I find myself laughing or smiling or breathing out slightly faster than usual, but at the same time, I didn't find myself wincing or cringing either, which is nice, I guess. It's actually wild to me just how much stuff and things are able to happen in this show without igniting even the tiniest slither of emotion in my genuinely not even that cold and dead heart. I do find it hard to actually call this show bad until I remember it's supposed to be a comedy, then it's really easy. But it's not as simple as a bad show. Genuinely, most of the things that the show does are fine. The setting is established adequately. The characters are alright. The stories are acceptable. The character relationships, I mean, they work, I guess. I think basically the only thing in this show that I would actually call bad is the comedy. But, it is a comedy, so they didn't really pick their battles too well with this one. Even if the show does everything else adequately, ultimately, it's just not funny. I made Comic Sans pretty. Okay, so we currently live in an environment where adult animated comedies are being pumped out of the TV machine faster than this Squid Game reference is going to age. When it comes to writing characters, standard procedure for this current wave of comedies is really simple. Take 1, 2, or if you're feeling extra ambitious, maybe even 3 character traits. And make sure they're funny character traits, like being fat, or stupid, or obnoxious. You're done. Fill out your entire cast of characters the same way, and you've got yourself an ensemble that can carry a show worthy of that sweet Netflix original badge. Let's try it now. Let's generate one. Let's start by filling our name picker wheel with funny character traits. Alright, these are all very funny. Now let's not go advanced mode just yet. Let's start off with 2 character traits. Old. And horny. Oh, I think I know that guy. So we've just generated Hobson from Paradise PD. They already did it. They already made this character. For those not in the know, Paradise PD is a Netflix original adult animated comedy which not too long ago actually celebrated its 3rd season. Hang on, are there any other Netflix originals that have recently had a new season? Officer Stanley Hobson is one of the show's regular cast members, and whenever he's on screen, he's just being old.
Who's gonna change my diaper? Now my memory's gone.
Or horny.
I'm trying to decide if this tastes better or feels better. You wanna play some board games? Hungry dildos? Teabag the corpse? Erect for...
Character writing. Okay, rude and old. Okay, that's just the Queen from The Prince.
You sound like a fucking idiot.
Everyone stop fucking startling me! I want those fucking tarts!
I have gotten entirely too used to shows that fill out their entire rosters with characters like these ones, and at the start it looked like Chicago Party Aunt was heading in the same direction. The first episode is probably the worst the show has to offer. It doesn't have a story to speak of, and instead just follows our main character Diane around for the day as loads of big changes happen in her life. The episode opens with her husband leaving her, then she discovers her favorite coffee place has closed down, which is treated about as seriously as that other thing. She goes into work to find her new boss is making huge changes to the place, which include firing her, and we find out her sister, who is also a landlord, is selling her apartment, so she has to move out. None of this seems to have that much of an impact on her character or her mental state, and then at the end of the episode, half of the changes don't even stick, as she's given her job and her apartment back. This episode really doesn't have a purpose or story of its own to tell, instead it just suffers from what I like to call cartoon sitcom episode 1 syndrome. I'm pretty sure sure the only reason this episode is here is to introduce you to all of the different characters and locations that are going to be important over the course of the series. Because, yeah, that is what we're doing. This episode acts like a tour through every regular element of the show. Every reoccurring character and location makes an appearance. And we get what is in effect an origin story for this current chapter of Diane's life. Her husband is a regular character who shows up a lot. The new coffee shop that she goes to instead of the other one that just closed down is a regular location in the series, and the guy who works there is a regular character. Her work is another location we visit a lot, and her boss is another consistent character. This episode forgoes being a story of its own in order to introduce all of the elements of the show to the audience, but it doesn't need to be here, like, at all. I believe in you guys, you're a smart lot. I have the confidence in you that if you're watching a new show you've never seen before, and in one of the first few episodes our main character goes to a coffee shop, that you could figure out for yourselves that, oh, this must just be a coffee shop she goes to, and you won't be there saying, what the fuck is going on? That you don't have to see the fucking story of how she started drinking at that coffee shop. And if while she's there some dude comes up to her and over the course of the conversation mentions something about when we were together, or the son that we have, or divorce proceedings, that you guys wouldn't be going, what could the relationship between these two possibly be? The only event from episode 1 that I feel the audience actually benefits from seeing takes place at the end when Diane's nephew, Daniel, moves in with her. That's because of all of these events, Daniel moving in is the only one where it being so recent actually has an effect on the dynamic. This isn't just a show about Daniel being Diane's roommate, this is a show about Daniel being Diane's new roommate. Other than that though, yeah, skip episode 1. You'll get a much better introduction to all of these elements by just seeing how they interact with the actual stories of subsequent episodes. And bear in mind, as you're skipping episode 1, that the fact you're skipping episode 1 doesn't actually mean you have to go ahead and watch. The beginning of the show also makes the characters seem dangerously like they're going to be written in the way that we discussed earlier, where it's just, look, this character has a few funny character traits. Diane actually has quite a few. She is dumb, irresponsible, obnoxious, horny, and lazy. While we're at it, we can throw being a party animal in there as well, because, you know, that's the title of the show. Me being so used to this current wave of adult animated comedies, I was totally ready for that to be the entirety of her character. And yeah, there are plenty of scenes where it's just like, lol, look, she is that thing that she is.
Look at the time! It's White Claw clock!
Party animal and irresponsible, given this is at work.
Let's get nuts, G-string!
Party animal and dumb, because she's not realized what's actually happening in this scene yet.
We begin corporate training.
Balls, is that today?
Irresponsible.
No one's going anywhere for the next 3 days.
3 days? What is this, frickin' Hanukkah? No offense, Susanna. I am Catholic.
Dumb.
We'll be going through borough's rules and regulations. We'll implement those policies via role-playing.
Woo!
Not that kind of role-playing, Diane.
Dumb and horny.
Got it. And what if we decide to not do any of that?
Irresponsible and lazy.
Then you can't work here. Diane!
What? 5-minute rule.
Party animal. Oh, and I felt like it would start getting repetitive if I said obnoxious after literally everything she did in that scene, but yeah, that as well. Things really weren't looking good for the character writing in this show. In episode 1, there's also a short scene introducing us to Diane's son. What does the episode take the time out to teach us about him? Is it what he's like as a person? No, it's his funny character trait, which is that he can get hit in the head a lot and not be hurt.
He's been hit in the head at every single Chicago sporting event.
Okay, the thing is though, as the show goes on, the characters become more than just their funny traits. Yeah, Diane's a dumb, obnoxious, lazy, horny, irresponsible party animal, but those are just a few traits of a relatively well-formed character. The scenes that are basically just lol, look, she is the thing that she is don't go away, but we do get more depth and nuance to her as the show progresses. Even though we are expected to point and laugh at her for doing the thing, she does become more than a surface-level caricature. She has her own moral compass, and there are plenty of situations where she understands that she needs to take responsibility and reel it in. Yeah, she really doesn't care if she's annoyed someone, but she's still empathetic enough to make sure she doesn't actually hurt anyone around her. She's willing to sacrifice a lot to make sure she's there for her friends and family. Episode 7, for example, sees her giving up an opportunity to have what could be one of the best nights of her life just because she told her son that she would be there for him and doesn't want to let him down. In episode 5, when she accidentally messes up a part of her boss's personal life, she feels terrible about it and stays up all night trying to figure out a way to make it up to him. And she's doing all that for for someone that she doesn't even get along with, really. Diane isn't just a list of very simple, funny traits that we can point and laugh at. She's a person, and that was really refreshing to see. The same compliments can be extended to most of the characters in the show. They're not just there for you to point and laugh at them, they actually have their own stuff going on. Thing is though, that's it. The show has a cast of characters that aren't caricatures, and you watch them go through the stories of some pretty generic cartoon episodes. Like, here's a plot. Daniel wants to impress some people he went to school with, including one guy he has a crush on, so he lies and says he has his own apartment, neglecting to mention the fact that he actually lives with his aunt. He invites all these folks round a couple of times while Diane is out, but he ends up not even getting along with them that well, and is just reminded of why he hated high school. Eventually Diane comes home and he gets her to just kick them all out. And that's it. That's a story. It happens, and that's broadly speaking all I can really say about it. What Chicago Party Aunt has is a solid base on top of which a great show could be built. If you had those same characters and that same plot synopsis, but the episode was just full of banger jokes the whole way through, you'd have a great show. Or the same story but with deep exploration of character. Or some interesting commentary. There's loads of stuff you could build on top of a solid base like this, but they just haven't done any of that. The main thing that Chicago Party Aunt has built on top of this solid base is... let's have a look through some of that material, shall we? In terms of the jokes, Chicago Party Aunt has nothing new or funny to offer. A huge amount of it is eerily similar to material I've already covered when reviewing other bad adult animated comedies, like Hoops, The Prince, or Paradise PD. There's loads of examples of a joke I've already reviewed in a different show just showing up in this one. Like sometimes they'll say one thing,
Maybe I won't have to deal with any idiotic bullshit today.
Then you would get sunburned, sir.
Oh no, it's fine. I only get golden brown.
I'm sure these people aren't as bad as you say they are.
but then, in a shocking turn of events, the opposite thing happens.
And hello, bullshit.
Ow. Sorry.
The autographed Sammy Sosa ball.
Yeah, Chicago Party Aunt has its fair share of these.
The best part is there's never a line. God damn it!
Oh, but there is a line. The problem with material like this is that the comedy is based on subversion, but this form of subversion is so common and so obvious that paradoxically, it's no longer subversive at all.
They gave me a boot for one parking ticket. Damn it!
They're trying to subvert your expectations with the most obvious punchline that you could imagine to a joke. It really doesn't take the world's cleverest person to point out why that's not gonna work. I'm just overqualified, and just like I criticized a lot of these shows for in the past, a lot of what you're expected to laugh at is the characters just doing their funny character traits.
Underwear?
And much like Coops, it seems to think that just repeating the same material, but again, is funnier?
Underwear! Oh my god!
And it doesn't take a passionate lover with an enormous penis to point out why that's not gonna work. It's actually freaky how strong of a resemblance there is between the material in this show and shows I've covered in the past. Like, not even a month ago I was criticizing The Prince for this joke where a character accidentally doesn't hang up the phone, and the entire joke is just that, hey, they were accidentally rude to someone to their face.
Who was that?
Megan. Some tosser gave her our number. Oh, shit.
And lo and behold, in Chicago Party Aunt,
Why would I want to go to Mark's parents' lame-ass milquetoast?
We're still on the phone.
Positively delightful get-together.
except in Chicago Party Aunt, they cheat to get the punchline because Diane so obviously did actually hang up the phone when she pressed it, and the people on the other end went silent immediately and didn't say anything for the duration of a long pause.
That is inappropriate when you're talking about
Phone off!
Like, don't pull that shit on me, she clearly hung up. I can see the phone's black screen, and so could she! I recently criticized The Prince for just presenting completely non-comedic lines as if they were jokes, as if that's going to fool me into laughing.
Neat. Demi Lovato is non-binary. Good for them.
And yeah, in Chicago Party Aunt, they do the same thing. Like, there's this moment where Diane is talking to someone who's at a party.
You told me the other bulls would be here.
Oh, I guess he's looking for those other people. That's something we now know he's up to. He's looking. And then slightly later on,
As some of you may know, this will be the last Rager thrown at this address.
Where are the other bulls?
oh, I guess he's still concerned about that then. Is that what? Is that supposed to be funny? What's the funny part of that supposed to be exactly? After criticizing Hoops for doing a completely unironic "he's behind you as you're shit-talking him" gag,
He's truthfully one of the dumbest people I've ever met.
Coach, you know I'm here, right?
I was not mentally prepared to have to see the same joke being made unironically again by anyone over the age of 4. But,
Never said that a million times. Will you excuse me? I'm gonna drown myself in the toilet.
How long has he been behind me?
no, I want to make it very clear, I'm not accusing Chicago Party Aunt of ripping off any of these other shows. I mean, if you were going to clone something, would you ever stoop so low as to clone something like Paradise PD? Okay, bad example. It strikes me more so that this is just where bad comedy comes to die. It's not like these jokes were original when those other shows were making them. Overlap like this is just what you're gonna get when you have several shows filled with entirely uninspired derivative jokes. All of the jokes in Chicago Party Aunt are like that. After a long and drawn out scene of Diane giving Daniel instructions for an elaborate plan to break in somewhere,
you're gonna get on the blue transfer to the 24
Get
bus.
2 beefs, dipped, half sweet, half
You'll see a
jardiniere.
chain link fence.
Climb. Throw both sandwiches behind your back. That should give you time to climb. Should arrive you squarely at the feet and clubbed feet of the Pete's.
we arrive at the least subversive punchline you could possibly imagine to this joke.
Diane sent me.
Why didn't you just use the front door?
A comedy writer was paid to do. If you want to see a comedy made up of entirely predictable jokes that'll leave you neutral facing the whole way through, watch Chicago Party Aunt.
The pony looks great.
Yeah, it took me 3 years to grow it out. My ex-wife's always loved long hair on guys. Tonight's the night I win her back.
Oh, I wonder what could possibly happen to the ponytail that we've just for no currently clear reason established is in fact very important to this man, while Diane is holding a pair of clippers.
Some song and dance they used to do.
Wait a second. Are you saying the 1985 Chicago Airport Beach show had the Beach Awards? Tina, I'm in.
Did you just cut off my pony?
I did.
Ironic canned laughter. So yeah, Chicago Party Aunt. Solid base for what could be a good show, and don't get me wrong, that is genuinely appreciated, but this is what they did with that. Oh well. I think to close off, I'm gonna show you 2 jokes. Canonically, one of the 2 jokes is supposed to be very funny, because all of the other characters in the scene laugh, and one of them even points out how funny they think it is. The other one is canonically supposed to be cringe-inducing, as all of the other characters in the scene wince and groan in response to it. I'll leave you to figure out in the comments below which one is which. The first is a gay dentist saying,
"Just so you know, 9 out of 10 dentists are gay."
Oh, and for context, this may look like a date, but I can assure you these guys are not into each other. No one's gonna be laughing just because he thinks the other guy is attractive. Anyway, the second joke is a man covered in beet powder saying,
I guess we should beat it?
Daniel is in both of these scenes, but which joke does he react to with,
See, now that's a good joke.
"Good luck"?